Why do they only realize your worth when you're no longer around? Why do people act blind to your presence when you give them your time, your energy, and your loyalty, yet suddenly feel a heavy emptiness the moment you step away? This isn't a mystery. It's one of the oldest truths of human nature. The more familiar something becomes, the less we notice it. When you are always there, always giving, always showing up, people begin to treat your presence as a guarantee. But the moment you withdraw, the moment your voice, your support, and your energy are no longer within reach, your absence hits them harder than your presence ever did. The Stoics understood this deeply because they studied the fragile ways human beings attach meaning to things only after they are gone. Seneca often reminded us that we waste our lives chasing distractions until loss finally forces us to see what mattered. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts, and part of that wisdom is learning to recognize value before it disappears. But here's where your power lies. You don't have to wait for others to see your worth. You can live in a way that commands respect, whether you're near or far. Absence, when used with strength, does not weaken your influence, it amplifies it. Your distance becomes a mirror that forces others to confront what you brought into their lives. Your silence becomes a reminder that your presence was never free, and your restraint becomes proof that you control your value, not them. That is why people miss you when you're gone. And before we continue, I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. My presence is powerful, and my absence is unforgettable. Number 1. Your value is revealed by contrast. When you are always available, people unconsciously begin to treat your presence as ordinary because the human mind naturally undervalues anything that seems endless. Think about it. When the sun rises every morning, we rarely stop to admire it, yet when a storm hides it for days, we suddenly long for its warmth and light. The same truth applies to your presence in people's lives. If you are constantly accessible, constantly giving, constantly showing up, they stop noticing what you bring. But the moment you step back, the contrast between your presence and your absence becomes impossible to ignore, and your value suddenly shines with greater clarity. Epictetus once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." And when it comes to human connection, this wisdom holds even more weight. People only want more of what they cannot have on demand, and when you limit your availability, you awaken their desire to appreciate you. The problem is, too many people give themselves away endlessly, hoping that constant presence will guarantee loyalty or love. But instead, it has the opposite effect. It dulls their impact. If you want others to feel the weight of your presence, you must allow moments of absence. This is not about playing games. It is about respecting yourself enough to stop scattering your energy. Your time, your attention, your love. These are treasures, not common goods to be taken for granted. When you begin to hold back, when you start saying no, when you guard your presence with intention, people start to realize that every moment with you is not guaranteed, but earned. That realization creates appreciation, and appreciation leads to respect. Number 2, detach from the need to be validated. The reason people miss you most when you're gone is because you finally detach from the endless chase for validation that once made you predictable and easy to control. When you constantly seek approval, you give others the power to decide your worth. And the truth is, people rarely value what they can manipulate. Marcus Aurelius warned, "We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." And that warning still rings true today. The more you live by the judgments of others, the less they respect you, because dependency breeds weakness. But when you stop depending on outside approval and start living from your own standards, something powerful happens. You create a magnetic presence that no longer begs, no longer explains, no longer adjusts itself for acceptance. People feel that shift because they suddenly realize your attention, your presence, and your care are not a guaranteed supply. They are choices made from strength. This is why your absence begins to matter. They know they no longer own your validation, and that loss stings more deeply than anything you could say. To reclaim this power fully, you must train your mind to validate itself first. Write down every day 3 things you genuinely respect about yourself. Qualities of strength, discipline, growth, or kindness that make you who you are. By doing this consistently, you build a foundation of self-respect so strong that the world can no longer shake it, and over time, others will learn to mirror the value you see in yourself. Detachment is not indifference, it is freedom. And once you embody it, you will always be missed, because people sense the strength of someone who needs nothing from them. Now, I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I validate myself, and my worth does not depend on anyone's approval. Number 3, absence exposes the truth about others. Seneca taught, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials," and absence is one of life's greatest trials because it strips away illusions and exposes the truth about people. When you are constantly present, everyone around you can hide behind habits, polite words, or convenient behaviors. But the moment you step back, their true intentions are revealed with clarity. Those who genuinely care about you will not let silence stretch endlessly. They will reach out, they will check in, and they will prove that your absence is felt in their world. On the other hand, those who only benefited from your energy, your generosity, or your availability will quietly fade away, because without your constant giving, there is nothing left for them to take. This is not something to fear or mourn. It is a blessing, because absence becomes the filter that separates those who are aligned with your soul from those who are only aligned with their own convenience. Too often people confuse detachment with rejection, but in reality, absence is a test that reveals loyalty, honesty, and genuine connection. Think of it as the light that shines into the corners where truth was hiding, because once you step back, you finally see who values your presence and who never did. This clarity allows you to protect your energy, build boundaries with confidence, and give your time only to those who have proven their worth. In this way, absence becomes your greatest teacher, because it shows you who deserves your presence without needing you to ask or guess. The lesson is simple. Those who notice your silence are the ones who deserve your voice, and those who feel your absence are the ones who truly value your presence. Number 4, silence is a language of strength. Silence is one of the most underestimated forms of strength, because when you stop explaining, stop defending, and stop chasing, you force the world to confront the weight of your presence without the distraction of noise. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." And what he meant was that true strength is not found in reaction, but in restraint. Anyone can lash out, argue, or beg to be understood, but it takes a disciplined mind to remain calm when provoked, to remain steady when misunderstood, and to remain silent when accused. That silence unsettles people because it removes their control over you. Words can be twisted, but silence cannot be argued against. Your refusal to explain or justify yourself creates an unshakable confidence that others cannot ignore, and that absence of words becomes louder than anything you could have said. When you go quiet, people are left alone with their thoughts, forced to reflect on what they did, forced to wonder what you are thinking, and forced to feel the emptiness where your voice once was. Silence creates mystery, and mystery creates power, because people cannot attack what they cannot fully see. Confidence is not about shouting, boasting, or proving. It is about remaining unshaken when others expect you to crumble. The next time you feel the urge to defend yourself, pause and remember that your silence will echo longer than any argument. It will not only protect your peace, but also make your presence even more unforgettable, because people remember the ones who could not be rattled. Strength is not loud, it is steady, and silence is the purest proof of control. Now I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. My silence is strength, and it speaks louder than explanations. Number 5. Your presence is energy. Guard it like treasure. Your presence is far more than the physical space you take up. It is the energy you carry, the attitude you bring, the calm or chaos that radiates from within you, and that is why it must be guarded like treasure. Epictetus advised, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid, because the moment you stop trying to impress or please everyone, you reclaim the energy you were wasting on shallow approval." Too many people burn themselves out giving their best energy to those who neither appreciate it nor deserve it. And then they wonder why they feel empty, exhausted, and unnoticed. The truth is, your presence is your power, and if you scatter it everywhere, it loses its weight. But when you guard it with discipline, when you become selective about who gets your time, your peace, and your attention, you begin to shine brighter because your energy is no longer diluted. People sense the difference immediately. They realize that being around you feels different, that your energy is uplifting, grounding, or inspiring. And because it is not available to everyone, they start to crave it. The less you waste yourself on those who drain you, the more powerful your absence becomes, because people recognize that what you give cannot be replaced or replicated anywhere else. That is why you must protect your energy fiercely. Your presence is a gift, not a commodity. It should never be taken for granted, and when you choose to step back, the silence and space you leave behind will remind others of how rare you truly are. Guard it wisely, because once you understand that your energy is treasure, you will never again give it away carelessly. Number 6. Absence is your time to evolve. Marcus Aurelius declared, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." And that wisdom reminds us that absence is not meant to be an empty void, but a powerful space for transformation. The beauty of stepping away is that it does more than allow others to feel your loss. It gives you the rare chance to sharpen your mind, strengthen your body, master your emotions, and realign with your purpose without distraction. Most people waste their absence by longing to be noticed, but the wise use it to evolve, because nothing is more magnetic than returning stronger than you left. When you stop chasing others and redirect that energy into your fitness, your craft, your discipline, or your spiritual growth, your silence becomes more than an absence. It becomes the soil in which a new version of you is planted. Over time, the people who once overlooked you begin to notice not only that you are gone, but that you have changed, and this creates a longing in them because they realize they are stuck in the same place while you are advancing. Your absence should not be a punishment, but a preparation, a sacred season where you step back from noise to build something unshakable within yourself. People don't just miss who you were. They begin to crave who you are becoming, because your growth exposes their stagnation. And when you reappear with greater strength, clearer vision, and deeper peace, your presence commands more respect than it ever did before. Absence used this way is never wasted time. It is a weapon, and the person who learns to evolve in solitude becomes unforgettable in the eyes of everyone who once took them for granted. Now, I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I evolve in my absence, and my growth makes me unforgettable. Number 7. Scarcity creates value. Seneca reminded us, nothing is more honorable than a grateful heart. But the truth is, gratitude does not survive when something is always available. It needs scarcity to stay alive. The human mind is wired to undervalue what is constant. And this is why people often take you for granted when you are always the one initiating, giving, and showing up. If you are always the first to text, the one who never says no, the one who makes endless sacrifices, your presence begins to feel ordinary, and ordinary is never cherished. But the moment you step back, reduce your availability and protect your presence, people experience the discomfort of scarcity, and suddenly, what was ignored becomes precious. Scarcity is not a trick or manipulation. It is the natural way value is revealed. Think of gold, diamonds, or rare art. People desire them not only because of what they are, but because they cannot be found everywhere. Your energy works the same way. When you make it rare, when you are not constantly accessible, others are forced to recognize the uniqueness you bring into their lives. The distance and silence you create awaken gratitude in their hearts, because now they can no longer take you for granted. This is not about playing games. It is about understanding that constant availability drains respect, while measured presence multiplies it. True power is not in being everywhere, but in being felt when you choose to appear. Scarcity teaches others to honor your time, your love, and your energy, because they now see it as a treasure, not a commodity. And once they learn this truth, your absence will weigh heavy, and your return will carry the impact of something extraordinary. Number 8. Become the source, never the seeker. The ultimate reason people miss you when you're gone is because, often without realizing it, they depended on your energy, your strength, your presence, while you never depended on theirs. Epictetus taught, "No man is free who is not master of himself," and that freedom is found when you recognize that your value does not come from external approval, attention, or dependency. It comes from being the source. You are the source of your own love, your own strength, your own inspiration, your own peace. And once you fully embody this truth, it changes the way the world interacts with you. People begin to realize just how much of their own stability, motivation, or joy was fueled by you. And the absence of your energy leaves a void they cannot fill. This is not arrogance. It is mastery over your own life and a refusal to give away your power to anyone who has not earned it. When you live as the source, you no longer chase attention, approval, or validation, and suddenly others feel the weight of your absence far more than your presence. They may try to replicate your energy or seek it elsewhere, but they cannot, because it comes from you and only you. This is the ultimate shift in self-mastery, understanding that your worth is independent, that your energy is your own, and that your life is defined by the power you cultivate within, not by the reactions of others. When you embrace being the source, every interaction becomes intentional, every moment of absence becomes impactful, and every return becomes magnetic. People feel your presence not because you demand it, but because you embody a force that cannot be replaced, controlled, or replicated. So now you see why they always miss you when you're gone. It's not about games, It's not about manipulation, it's about living in your worth, guarding your energy, embracing silence, and becoming so strong within yourself that your presence is unforgettable and your absence is undeniable. Marcus Aurelius gave us the final key. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Guard your thoughts, strengthen your actions, and step into the reality that your worth is not in how much you give away, but in how much you own your power. I want you to take action right now. Drop your favorite affirmation from this video in the comments, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on the bell so you never miss the wisdom we build together here. This is more than motivation, it's transformation. Stay strong, stay grounded, and always remember, your absence is your power.